Hello everyone, welcome to the Sunday Guardian show by Joyeeta Basu. I am the editor of the newspaper, the Sunday Guardian. Today we are going to discuss a report which we have published in the Sunday Guardian. The headline of the report says, Bengal being used as base to push terrorists from Bangladesh into India. The report has been written by Dibendu Mondal. Now, the introduction of this report says that many of these infiltrators work as migrant laborers and brainwash the gullible. You see, the problem that this actual report is talking about is that these people are entering India from Bangladesh through a very porous border that we have with Bangladesh, porous riverine border. And from there, they are not only radicalizing the people who live along the border districts, and I'm going to talk about that later, and also in sections of Calcutta, they are spreading to the rest of the country, maybe even setting up sleeper cells. And the radicalization is happening on the ground in different parts of the country. Now, Dibendu has more details about it. Dibendu, can you tell us what exactly your report is talking about?
So basically, both the West Bengal intelligence agencies as well as the central intelligence agencies for the last couple of months have been tracking the activities of these people who have been extremized and sent across the India-Bangladesh border into most of the bordering districts in Bengal, which includes, as I have written in my report, which includes the South 24 Parganas, the North 24 Parganas, Malda, Murshidabad. But interestingly, see, these districts have been notorious for a very long time. But interestingly, the Northern Bengal district, which is the district of Jalpaiguri, especially in the Duars region, is also seeing an increased activity of these extremist individuals. Why? Because many of whom are getting inside India is also through Assam and the northeast borders. So they enter into the northeastern part of India. They have set up a base. There is a place called Barabeta in Assam. They have set up a base there, according to our sources in the intelligence. They have told us from there the main operation goes on, and then they send people into different parts of Bengal. Why Bengal? Bengal is considered as a safe haven because they get the political mileage. I mean, maybe the dispensation.
No, if I can just say one thing. First of all, one of the reasons why Bengal is quote unquote an attractive destination for these people is because of the language. Okay, it's the same language
Absolutely,
that is spoken by these other things, and sadly enough, what is seen is that the situation in Bengal, the political situation in Bengal is seen as such. It is seen that these elements who are entering India from Bangladesh and they tend to converge into this particular state, they think that they will go undetected,
Yes.
and no action will be taken against them. I mean, I do not want to specify what exactly we are talking about, but I guess viewers are intelligent enough to understand what we are suggesting. Yeah, please,
Right.
Dibendu.
So they enter and they make these safe havens in the bordering district. So then they move after they have been able to settle there. They have their own handlers in different parts of these bordering districts of Bengal. They settle there. Then they move. After they have been able to gather the understanding of how India is and how and where they have to go through their handlers, both in India as well as in Bangladesh, they move to other parts of the country. So intelligence sources have also gathered that they have moved to parts in Mumbai, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, there's an interesting fact that we have come to know is that they work as migrant laborers or take the guise of migrant laborers because to brainwash these people who come from the lower strata of the society, they think that it is easier for them to brainwash them as they are gullible. So they take the help of being migrant laborers and move to different parts of the country, and that's how they carry out their task of brainwashing people. And as per the intelligence sources, there are at least 3 modules which have been busted by the intelligence sources in Bengal, and also there are sleeper cells which they are being creating in parts of southern India. So
Yeah, if we can specifically mention the organizations, the intelligence agencies are talking about, number one is Al Qaeda. You know that Al Qaeda in South Asia, there is a
Right.
particular branch of the Al Qaeda, and then there is JMB, which is Jamiat ul
In Mujahideen,
Mujahideen
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Okay, that is there. So what is happening? You see, this is becoming possible because of the large influx that takes place from Bangladesh, and these people use these infiltration routes and to basically come to Bengal, and they hide themselves in clear sight. The problem also starts because you see they also get the papers. You see this illegal infiltration happens, and these illegal infiltrators get papers, obviously because the authorities do not, this is all about vote bank. After all, these infiltrators, once they come and settle in these districts and then they spread to the rest of the country, these are all vote banks. So the authorities also in certain parts of the country, I would say, they turn a blind eye to what is going on. As long as certain vote needs are fulfilled, they end up getting the papers. Now, when we are talking about the way these, you are talking about the sleeper cells that have been, I
Right.
think 3 modules you are
Right,
saying
right.
are active in Bengal, and they have also caught them.
Right.
Isn't it?
Three modules have been busted, but intelligence believe there are at least 6 modules that are running in Bengal. So out of which I think 15 of them have been arrested, and rest about around 10 to 12 people are still to be arrested of all these 6 modules, or 6 or 7 modules that operates in these states. Interestingly, the JMB has been active in Bengal for quite some time, but the activity I'm told has increased since the lockdown of 2020, and this lockdown was used by these JMB and other extremist organizations in Bangladesh to push people into Bengal. So I'm also told that the NIA is also investigating into the JMB module in different parts of Bengal. I'm sure
National Investigation Agency, NIA.
yeah. So our viewers would also remember there was this Birbhum blast case that happened, and the NIA had then found that there was an involvement of the JMB. Since then, the NIA is tracking down on JMB in different parts of Bengal, and they have not been able to share much details yet, but they are working on different to busting and cracking down on different parts different modules of JMB that are active in Bengal. But I would also say how these infiltrations happen in Bengal. So I come from a place where my hometown is a place where we share a border with Bangladesh. So I've seen it from my childhood, how these active human smugglers, if I may call them so, help people from Bangladesh to come into India. So these, especially these north.
Why don't you describe, as he was
Yes.
telling me about it? There are these round boats.
There is this round boat. So we share a large riverine boat, which is the Ichamati river that separates India and Bangladesh in a major part of it. And also in Malda district and Mushidabad district also there is parts of riverine border. So earlier what used to happen is there were no fencing in the border, so it was very easy for people to just cross over. But now there have been fences put up in most parts of the border, but despite that the fences are cut. And also since India and Bangladesh share a friendly relation, we have this open window time that is given to people from both the countries to come and plow their field, because their fields are here and there. So that is where people take the guise of farmers and move into India, and then they don't go back. Also in the night, how these smuggling happens is they take round boats which are made up of either bamboo sticks or banana leaves. So they float. The handlers would already be informed on the other part of the border, which is in India, by Bangladesh. They will put them in that small boat and they will float them. So they will reach in some part of Bengal, especially in these north and south 24 Parganas, where they will be received. Once they are received, they are put into safe houses, is what they call. And then their documents are arranged by various individuals to whom they will be beneficial. And even the due diligence that is required, as ma'am was saying, was as required to give out these documents are mostly not carried out. So I have been told by my sources that the due diligence, if carried out during issuing of these documents by various authorities who are responsible, would bring out a lot of anomalies as to how randomized the issuance of voter ID cards and Aadhaar cards that happen in Bengal.
Yeah. So you see, what is the fallout? Now, I think these sleeper cells have been busted. Quite a few of these,
Yes.
extremists, radicals, they have been caught, who are actually associated, as we mentioned, associated with Al Qaeda and JMB and all. You see, another thing that is happening. So, fundamental problem is obviously the infiltration, because of which, and this is being used by extremist and terrorist elements to, push these radicals into the state, and from there to rest of India. Now, whenever I raise this topic with anyone, especially who is slightly considered to be slightly left and stuff like that, and supporter of a particular dispensation, I am told that Bangladesh is economically in a better situation than India. So, why will they be coming to India at all? Instead, apparently, it's the Indians who should be going to Bangladesh. What these people do not understand is that minute little difference, that the per capita income GDP, that Bangladesh has gone up above India. In that, if you look at India's 28 states, Bangladesh is coming to something around in the range of 19th or 20th. Okay, so they don't understand the economic kind of economic heft that India has. It is but natural that these people will be coming in. Okay, and I also know people who actually support this what they call economic migration. They say that, where else will people go? Well, that's a different issue altogether, but the problem starts when these radicals start coming in using these routes. Now, the other thing that has happened in Bengal and is happening in Bengal, when he is talking about these people coming in, and because these nefarious elements are also coming in, radicalization, and that is becoming a serious problem. Perhaps sitting in Calcutta, those who are sitting in Calcutta are not able to understand what is going on, but if you go to the border districts in particular, in the rural areas, serious radicalization is taking place now, and very thoughts, if this is not nipped in the bud, if this is not checked, but if you ask me, Bengal is sitting on a powder keg. Okay, just because, and it is not that there have not been riots in Bengal, there have not been problems in Bengal. It's a different matter. We don't get to hear about it much, primarily because the media there does not talk. There is, no one really talks about it over there. So it's kind of whitewashed. They would rather talk about something that has happened in UP or maybe Maharashtra or Delhi, but they will not talk about what is happening in their backyard. That's a sad situation, I would say. That is why the national media needs to be much more vigilant about what is going on in Bengal. But the fact of the matter is that serious radicalization is taking place in the state. I know it is not going to make us popular if we say this, but then, that is the bitter truth. And sometimes you have to speak the truth. Just by being an ostrich, by burying your head in the sand, it does not really help. And the thing is, you see, as Dibyendu also mentioned, this has come to the notice of the NIA, the Central Investigating Agencies, for that matter. And more importantly also, you see, what is the action being taken on the ground? You see, who are the people who are giving shelters to all these extremist elements who are entering from maybe Assam, or from via Assam or from Bangladesh directly? They are getting shelter. This is what this story in this edition talks about, that these people are getting shelters along the border. And I find it very difficult to believe that the local authorities, absolutely people who work at the grassroots, they do not know what is going on. It is not, even when I am told, maybe you can bring in the BSF angle a bit. Yes. Over here.
So, a source, I speak to a couple of sources in the BSF in Bengal. So, they do tell me that when they catch, like the BSF do not have any authority to detain or to prosecute. So once they catch hold of an individual, they're handed over to the local state administration or the local administration. So most of the times we get to hear that the BSF is in a sorry state and can't do anything because the state administration do not take, or the local authorities do not take much of an action. They once you catch hold an illegal immigrant, you are supposed to deport them, but we see in many cases those deportations do not happen. But nobody really knows where do these illegal migrants go after they are caught, because the BSF says that they hand it over to the local administration, but post that there is no information about what happened to them and where did they go. Did they assimilate into the Indian population? Have they been deported back? Not much information is available about them. So that is something that they are also very concerned about, and I'm sure they have taken up with the MHA as well many a times about this.
You have to explain MHA, because you see, we are journalists, we tend to take certain
Ministry of Home Affairs,
yes. Right.
So they have taken up with the Ministry of Home Affairs at the central level as well, as to do something. And I believe the increase of jurisdiction of the BSF, I had done a story earlier, and it was why it was necessitated, because this was one of the reasons that the BSF needed to get into the increase of jurisdiction was necessary, because they were hiding in places where they were where the BSF did not have access to. So which is why it will probably help the BSF to nab more such people who cross into India and then settle out in places where they think they will get away freely.